Hello, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and today I'm going to talk to you about random pieces, leftovers, what to do with those random leftovers. I just finished a 12-page Hey Handsome Sparkle and Shine workshop, and I have these odd bits left over, like one circle and some little top hats and mustaches and really random things. And we're a very country family. We're a ranching family. And all of our photos are very outdoorsy, and we rarely have occasion to dress up. But I did find these two random photos of my grandson, Waylon James, and he's super stoic. He's usually kind of giggly and silly, and he was so stoic sitting up there, so dignified with his bow tie, that I thought maybe, just maybe, there would be something I could do with these random pieces. I was so close to throwing them away. So I cut my squares into 2-inch squares, and I love the plaid in his shirt. And I thought, definitely, I feel like the plaid in his shirt reminds me of quilting or country or something like that. And I just didn't have very large pieces to work with. So I cut 22 by 2 squares and thought that I would make this quilting background, just this little patchwork background. So I'm kind of going around and choosing random squares. I didn't quite have enough pattern paper squares, so I cut some paprika and black 2 by 2 squares to supplement. So I'm just going to arrange these around the outer edge, and thinking that I will create a focal point in the center and put those two little photos of Waylon James with that cute little bow tie. I don't know why he was so serious that day. Couldn't make him laugh. His mama couldn't make him laugh. But he just looks like this little gentleman, this little dignified gentleman. So I've just arranged those pieces. Sometimes I like to arrange those and then trim around the edges, just because sometimes it's hard to get little pieces straight. So now I'm just simply cutting a 9 by 9 black cardstock piece, and you're watching me tear it apart, which I do sometimes often because I don't get it even. So we have a 9 by 9 black cardstock square, and I'm actually just running my fingernail along the edge of the 8 3/4 by 8 3/4 white daisy piece. Sometimes those edges, especially if your paper trimmer is in need of new blades, just get kind of frayed. So now I have a 4 1/4 by 5-inch piece, and I'm kind of contemplating wanting some little words to show up on the bottom, making them maybe look like little Polaroids, but because it's a word paper, maybe trying to see if possibly I could leave some little word pieces. Now I wanted to mount Waylon's photos on a little bit of a black, so it is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, just enough because there's so much orange in his photos to sort of balance out all of that orange. So now I'm changing my mind here and thinking maybe I would like some transition strips with some leftover zip strips on the bottom, but I have to sacrifice the words if I do that. I think that I would like to have the black and white stripe underneath the orange star. I love the orange star zip. It's so cute, but it needs a little bit of that black to balance it out a little bit. And so I think I'm going to layer both of those on the bottom. I'm not quite sure exactly, because I'm really contemplating wanting some words to show. That word paper is so cool, but I do think I like the look of the strips across the bottom. Usually I use up those zip strips in my workshop, and for some reason they just did not fit in the workshop. So now you're watching me pull things off again and get them a little bit more even. Sometimes I am a little bit of an eyeballer and I get things sort of uneven. So now I'm kind of looking around. I've got the handsome. I'm kind of looking for a title. I like the top hat sticker, but I also like the handsome word. words, and I'm going to need to do something up at the top to be able to do a little bit of filling of the space, since the photo piece or the place card piece is 4 1/4 by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and dovetail maybe 3/4 by 1 inch paprika pieces to maybe make a banner to spell the word handsome. Usually what I do is I dovetail the piece by cutting up about a 1/2 inch or a little less and cutting in from the corners, and then I use one piece as the pattern so that I don't have to dovetail over and over, and I just lay that pattern over. Now I decided to add, it was kind of a hard decision, I decided to add foam tape to the bottom, and instead of using some leftover foam tape squares, I'm using the foam tape. For some reason, I like the way that it looks to have that center focal piece up on top of those squares. So it's totally optional. You could put it flush and it would look amazing as well. So now I'm going to arrange the letters to spell handsome. Now I do see that there are some stickers on the sticker sheet, so you are so loved or so loved. So I could always add the banner pieces, so handsome, or I could do a play with some of those letters later. But right now I'm kind of seeing what I think. I have all these leftover buttons that didn't quite fit in my Sparkle and Shine Hey Handsome workshop. And I would really love to be able to use these buttons up, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to really like adding so many buttons on the title. Maybe I'll just add one button on either side of the banner and then add a little journaling string. Just kind of want to lay that up there a minute and see what I think of that. Also, if I think about maybe popping the title up. So I'm just looking at some of these very random pieces that I truly did almost throw away. I really could not think of one single thing that I could use that for. Sometimes I even will do things. I've done things in the past where I might actually make the photo up with the bits that I have. Like I could have gotten a little dollar store fuzzy mustache and put it on Waylon James or one of my granddaughters and made a little mustache layout and just made my own photo opportunity. But I love that I actually found a real one that would work. So I've added a leftover arrow sticker that was pine colored, and I thought that leftover sticker would go well with some of the pine squares and kind of offset all of the orange. I have a lot of orange or paprika, and so now I'm just struggling a little bit because once I have my pieces on here, I've noticed that they're a little off, and I've needed to trim them up or maybe move those just a little bit to make them even. So I can always do that off camera and kind of do a little straightening or trimming. Sometimes my cutting is imperfect or my layering is imperfect. So now I'm going to add just a few little journaling lines here in between those banner pieces to make it look like a connected banner. It's a wonderful little technique. I could even go up to the corners, but I think for now I'm going to leave the buttons. And I know he doesn't have a mustache in this, but it just seems kind of a little vintagey. Like maybe I could add the acrylic hat and the acrylic mustache. Maybe see what I can do with this little sticker here, trying to find some balance in the page and maybe form a visual triangle if I can with these pieces. It's such random leftover pieces that I'm not quite sure, but I like the idea of maybe layering that top hat sticker over the top of the leftover die cut sticker. This circle was a die cut that was left over, and we get die cuts right in the kit of our workshop kits, and so sometimes I use all of them. Most of the time I honestly do. It's kind of a thing of mine. Like I love using up all the extra pieces. I hate it when I just have a few leftover pieces. As you can tell, my whole reason for doing this layout is I just was going crazy over these little leftover bits. I kind of like the mustache with the bow tie on the bottom. I might leave that there. Sometimes I like to walk away and see what I think. I also have, there's a sticker mustache that I maybe could use. I'll probably embellish with a few of these little leftover buttons. I do see there are just a couple, maybe only 2 star stickers left on that sheet, but I may be able to use those. There's a black arrow and a white arrow. I may be able to use those and sort of create a little bit of a visual triangle with some things at the upper left, some things at the lower left, and then maybe some things at the upper right, and see if I can do a couple little, really humble clusters here. So I think I kind of like to cover up the top hat in the sticker with the top hat acrylic shape and just add a little dimension there, add a few of these little stars, which I think there is only a couple. I'm kind of looking and scanning to see if there are any more anywhere. It's getting to be pretty slim pickings. Not quite sure where I could add the white arrow. It doesn't quite go. So I think I might be happy, totally happy with that. So I hope you enjoyed using up those little tiny leftover bits. Hit the subscribe button and come back again. Have a wonderful day and happy scrapping, everyone. Bye-bye.